Live here from Suzuka Circuit. We are far, far away from home in the United States, but here we are. Fun race, couple points events tonight, doubleheader for the NAOR series. I'm Josh Coppernell. I'm joined in the booth by somebody different today from who I normally have, Jonathan Canfield. How you doing?
I'm doing great. I'm ready to see a great race here from Suzuka Circuit. Looks like we got a pretty decent field coming out here. Looks like the times are pretty close in practice, so I'm excited to see what they can put down in the race.
Yeah, absolutely. These guys, I think they're gonna put on a close race. Should be pretty exciting.
Looking at the times here throughout practice, it looks like right now I'm gonna butcher some of these names. These guys are all new to me. I can always get corrected if need be. But the sixth car of Nick, I'm gonna butcher it. Hopiek. I tried. He's setting down the fast time right now in practice, so we'll see if he continues that momentum into qualifying as these guys are wrapping up their practice here shortly.
And that is Nick Hapiak there in the 6 machine. So, practice rather, it's coming to an end. We're heading into qualifying, and let me tell you guys real quick, I've had a pretty interesting last few minutes where I was trying to cram everything together, and I accidentally registered as a driver. So we're not going to see qualifying because I can't bring it up as a driver. Where if I was a spectator, we'd be able to see everybody. So we're not going to be able to watch qualifying. Just kind of keep an eye on the times here. That's all right. This track, it's going to be a little bit of a tricky one for some of these guys to get around. I believe this is the first road course of the season for these guys as well.
And going off of some of that, I believe we also have some different names in here from some different leagues and some different camps that decided to come over here and race with these guys tonight.
Yeah, actually, a couple of guys that any followers of JCTV may recognize. You have a couple of different guys with, my apologies, trying to do too many things at once. But Austin J. McGill and Zach Wareham, both names that you might recognize from Jawb Racing League that is on Tuesday nights. Of course, on their off season right now.
Yeah, and I mean, knowing those guys personally, I will say they claim themselves to be road course guys. So we'll see what they can do here tonight. It looks like they're stacking up pretty well against what I would consider to be a pretty tough field here at Suzuka.
Yeah, and I'm kind of excited to see what these guys will be able to do, especially around the regulars of NAOR. So I've heard, and of course I've not seen a road course race with these guys in it before. This will be my first. I don't really know who road course ringer is, who to watch out for, but I've heard multiple times from the man Josh Arnold that Braden Holt, he is a guy who is going to be very, very strong tonight and probably a name to watch out for. But, looking at Zachary Wareham and Austin J. McGill, I'm very curious how they will be able to stack up as well, being road course guys. I think we're in for a great show tonight. See, right now, Nick Kapiak actually leading qualifying. And go ahead and bring up Ticker to see the time. So right now, only 3 drivers have taken the time.
Yeah, we've got so far, as you mentioned, Nick Hapiak leading top of the board, but over a second fall off actually, and then you get Zach Wareham and Austin J. McGill running very similar times. Zachary Wareham just barely edging out Austin J. McGill by what looks to be almost 400ths of a second, so maybe half a car if you want to put it in distance.
Yeah, it's pretty close for sure. Well, one thing I know this is about your only second show with me, John. So one thing I like to do actually before qualifying even starts, we had a little bit of a late broadcast start, but I know this could be a long shot for you. Not recognizing a lot of these names, but just for funsies, who is your pick to win tonight?
Well, seeing as there's really only two drivers in this field, three if you count the one that I've seen on multiple JCTV broadcasts. There's only really three drivers I could say I know by name here, but just not biased or anything, judging by the fact that he is picking up time, and I think he'll just continue to pick up time as he figures out the track. I'm going to go with Austin J. McGill because he's still picking up time as he goes on, and we'll see what happens towards the end of the race.
And for my pick, it's going to be pretty tough as well, because I know all these guys, but I don't really know who's good on road courses. Of course, I've heard the man is Braden Holt, but I look at the times. Even Nick Kapiak, he was fastest in practice. Of course, you got McGill, Wareham up there, top 5 right now out of 7. I think I'm going to go with Nick Kapiak. I think we've got 2 races, of course, tonight. A doubleheader, like I said. I think Nick Kapiak is going to take this first one.
I think that's a strong choice to take there, especially looking at his time. I mean, he's got quite a gap over the field right now. Granted, as you said you had heard, Braden Holt put down a practice time only maybe a half a tenth slower than Nick Hapiak. So, I mean, Braden Holt still yet to qualify, could come out here and show us another quick time here.
Yeah, and there is, of course, 10 minutes in qualifying. We're down to 4 minutes and just a little under 4 minutes 30 seconds. I wonder if some of these guys are waiting for the watching the track temp, right? Because track temp drops, it could really help with your lap time. Right now, track temp is 81 degrees Fahrenheit. I
I
haven't.
think
Go ahead.
I think some of them might be waiting for the track temp to die down, but also the longer you wait, I mean, I know this isn't the longest road course that you could go to. There is a longer layout of Suzuka, but you still got almost a minute to just get a lap down, not including the time it takes you to get off pit lane, come around to get the green. So with about under 4 minutes here left in qualifying, yeah, I think if some of these guys are going to qualify, they've got to get out almost right now.
Yeah, and just before you said that, of course, I mentioned track temp was 81 degrees, and that maybe some guys were waiting for it to go down. Actually, while you were talking, it did the opposite. It went up a degree, so track temp now 82 degrees. But yeah, 3 minutes 15 seconds left in qualifying. 9 total drivers have taken a qualifying lap out of 13 drivers that we have. Ignore the 42 of Coppernell. Like I said, I registered as a driver on accident. It's been a long couple of weeks without any broadcasts. But speaking of, I hope everybody had a great Christmas, great holiday that we just had. And, tomorrow's New Year's Eve, and we're almost in 2023. I'll tell you what, I cannot believe that 2022 is almost over and we're almost in the next year. That's just insane to me. And looking back at this past year, I've got to thank so many people for helping us. I think right now JCTV started July 4th actually 2020, and this year was definitely our biggest year so far. So yeah, I've got so many people to thank and not enough time to do all that, but there's so many people. Each one of you watching, each person that's ever raced a race that's been put on JCTV, all the league admins, those guys, they are awesome people, and I've had a blast for sure. But I kind of went off topic from what I was saying. I was going to say, I really hope that everybody had a great Christmas, great holiday. and just staying safe tomorrow night, New Year's Eve. It is one of the craziest holidays. Lots of drinking, partying, and just hope everybody has a very safe New Year's Eve.
Oh, absolutely there, Josh. And I think I'd be in trouble if I didn't do this, at least on the broadcast, because she is allowing me to do this tonight. My second wedding anniversary falls on tomorrow, so I got to give the quick shout out to my wife and say happy second anniversary to her and I, and thankful that she puts up with me for 2 years.
Well, happy anniversary to you guys. So,
And also going off of all the thank yous that you give out, Josh, we got to say a big thank you to you as well. You are the guy that kind of runs the ship over here at JCTV, and you give guys like myself and Dawson and Nick and all the rest of our fellow broadcasters a chance to come out here and have a stage to set on, and we couldn't do it without you either.
I appreciate it. It's been a long road, that's for sure, but we're sitting in a really good spot. I'm never imagined JCTV would be where it's at right now. But qualifying's coming to a close. 10 seconds left. Nick Kapiak, he looks to take the pole for race 1. Chris Wright, 3/10 off.
And then you go another 3/10 down. You're going to have Austin J. McGill starting in the 3rd position. And another 10th back to Kenneth Cheney. In the 4th position, Zach Wareham is going to roll off in the 5th spot here. Jose Ruiz will roll off in the 6th. We got Hunter.
Peach.
I'm going to butcher it.
Just call him
Peach. Just call him Peach. Hunter Peach. I don't even know what position I'm talking about anymore. 7th position. We got Brett Bennett, a JCTV regular, rolling off in the 8th position. Donald Knight rolling off 9th. Zachary Meredith rolling off 10th. And Josh, we'll let you handle the rest of the field there.
Yeah, Braden Holt is going to start in the 11th position with Josh Arnold to his outside. And rounding out the field, it is going to be John Osborne. And like I said earlier, you can ignore that 42 starting on the outside of, well, it says row 2, but that is going to be row 7. That is tonight's starting grid for the first race here. And there we go.
And I think important note here, I mean, qualifying's everything, but that's just for the first race. The second race doesn't matter where you qualify, it matters where you finish. So do you see any of these guys playing a strategy here maybe to just, I know some of these guys are racing for points, but let's say maybe they don't feel like they can come up and win this thing in the first race and they could finish somewhere in the mid-pack, get solid points. Then the field flips for the second race. They start up front in that second race. Do you think any of those guys are thinking that kind of strategy, or do you think it's just all out?
I think it's all out. This is not our first doubleheader event. We're supposed to have a couple of them so far, but right now only Bristol was our only doubleheader that we saw. And it was drivers just going all out. And so I think that's what we're going to see tonight again, and try to get through the field as quickly as possible.
Well, we already made our picks for the win, but I want to throw something at you, Josh. Who do you think is a driver to watch throughout the field tonight as you look through the times from qualifying and just maybe the guys that didn't qualify? Who would be someone that, if they're a first-time watcher here at JCTV, you would tell them, have your eyes on this one to maybe make a run towards the front?
Well, a guy that I would say would be a guy to watch. I mean, you said kind of go towards the front, but he's already in the front. Chris Wright. I'm a little surprised to see him starting P2 here tonight. But Chris Wright, I mean, he's legit had a chance to win every single race we have been to. And things just have not gone his way late in a race to where somebody else takes the win. But we've seen Chris Wright absolutely dominate races, just not able to get the job done. He has won 2 times this season, I believe it is, so far. But he's always been up front. I think he is one to watch tonight, especially seeing that he is starting here P2.
I think someone, maybe not to make a run towards the front, but starting in the back that I would keep my eyes on, kind of has a reputation around here for JCTV as we come to the green, is going to be Brett Bennett. I'm going to keep my eyes on him.
And that pace car is into the safety of pit road. This is a very short road course. Long straightaway here. You got to wait till the green flag drops in order to go, but it is going to be in the hands of Nick Hapiak starting on the right side, driver's right, row 1. The green flag is in the air. We are underway here at Suzuka.
And as the field goes down into this first corner, you have to expect maybe some guys hanging back a little bit, trying to just let things fan out here and not get too aggressive. But up front, we're still side by side for the lead.
I'm actually very impressed with the start Chris Wright had. He's about to take the lead away from Nick Hapiak. If Hapiak can hold on, it might be a different story, but they are still too wide here through all of these turns. And I'm shocked that they're still side by side.
Yeah, they're still side by side and battling hard for that lead. Nick Hapiak trying to hang on as much as he can here, as he will have what I think is the preferred line coming onto this front straightaway here.
And he does. Chris Wright's going to have to tuck in to the second place. Nick Hapiak with a car length lead now in the race. And that's the lap here. Oh, Zachary Meredith around to the back. Somebody else in the wall. That's John Osborne.
Oh, yeah, and that collects Osborne. Osborne with some heavy damage to the front of his vehicle. Both the left side and the right side appears to be caved in on the fenders, but he is still rolling. Reports coming over the driver radio, though. The 81 is saying his car is killed.
Oh, man. See it there. Just Meredith. He just lost it. And then John Osborne just collected there.
Is now after all that. Oh, and we have problems for the 12 of Zachary Wareham has an issue.
Oh, wow. Heavy damage to the front of his machine.
I'm wondering if he got a little too throttle happy coming off the corner.
See what? I'd say you are very right.
I'm thinking he might have just gassed her up a little too much coming off of that corner, because it just steps sideways on him and hard contact to the front of that car.
So far what I have gathered here is that this turn right here where Nick Hapiak is a very tricky one. It's 2 laps in a row. We've seen somebody lose it.
Yeah, and I mean, you look at the front 4, we've got 3 of those guys that seem like they run in this series pretty regularly, but we've got one of our one-off guys up there in that top 4, and he's hanging on with these guys. Kind of impressed here with how Austin J. McGill has been able to hang on as he gets a little loose coming out of the corner there. But he's hanging on, and he's not letting these guys get away.
Yeah, Austin J. McGill, of course, he had a really good season in the Slide Job Racing League. But just ahead of him, we've got a pass possible for second place. Chris Wright holding on, hard charging Kenneth Cheney, who's struggles there.
Definitely seeing a lot of these drivers struggle for grip here. The cars seem to be really loose as they go around these corners. And as we already noted, we had one driver spin off these corners, and I think we'll probably see more here before the end of the race if it comes down to battling for position.
These guys are separated a little bit. I want to go back. Talk about Brett Bennett. So you mentioned that he was one that you were watching. Brett Bennett just had surgery the other day. Again. Some of you may remember, if you're fans of JCTV and watch a lot of races, Brett Bennett had surgery on his gallbladder a month or so ago and was racing right afterwards. He's back. He just had surgery, racing once again. I'll tell you what, he may not be up front every race, but this man, he definitely has a heart of steel, that's for sure.
Yeah, for sure. Credit to Brett Bennett for being back out here. And, you know, give him credit right now where it's due. He started 8th on the grid, and he's up to 5th right now.
Yeah, he's doing pretty good. He's got a little bit of a challenge from Hunter Peach and Donald Kite. And speaking of Kite, I've mentioned before on the NAOR broadcast that Donald Kite, he's a guy that I know he's a fast racer, pretty new to iRacing and trying to figure out iRacing. Whereas, you know, I used to race with him a lot. Oh, Brett Bennett gets off track there, off the course, going to lose a couple positions, but he is all right.
This is, I think, the case of don't talk about the driver and nothing bad happens.
It's going back to Donald Kite. I raced with him a lot on my console days when we'd race on Xbox 360. Donald Kite, that man is tough at road courses. Obviously, iRacing is a different animal, but he's currently sitting P6. He's gaining experience right now. Of course, this is only the first of 2 30-lap races. We could see a different story in race 2 with Donald Kite.
That we could, and I mean, like you said, 2 races here tonight, and here's what I think is going to pay dividends for some of these guys in the back. If they finish in the back, right, the field inverts for our second race. They get to see what it's like to run up front and try to hold some of these guys that are up front right now off. But going back to the front here, I see Chris Wright has dropped 2 positions. Austin J. McGill and Kenneth Chaney have both gotten around him, and he's not catching them by the looks of it. Maybe holding back here, trying not to burn up some tire wear.
Very possible. Could be what he's doing. Oh, sliding a little bit now in the grass is Chris Wright. I don't know if he's trying to save or just struggling like everybody else. He's now under pressure from Hunter Peach.
Yeah, he is under a little bit of pressure, but he seems like he has the pace to at least hold on to the spot for now. I wonder if maybe trying to hold off Chaney and McGill, if he burned up his tires a little bit, now he's struggling for handling too. That could also be a case.
And speaking of Chaney, Chaney's right there running with Nick Capiak, but it's actually McGill who's fastest car on track last time by. See if McGill is able to continue to close in as these laps click off.
And talking about McGill, I do have to give a shout out where it's due to his teammate of Wareham. Wareham's still out here after that hard contact to the front of his car, and it looks like he's making up a couple of spots from where he lost.
Yeah, Wareham's sitting in P8 right now. He's a little over 2 seconds behind Brett Bennett. He's got a comfortable gap between himself and Jose Ruiz.
You know, for a driver, I will say it's the easiest when you have contact like Wareham did have to just call it a race and maybe bow out. But Zach's sticking through it here and probably thinking, hey, if I finish here, I'm towards the front in the next race, and maybe I don't make that mistake and I can run away with this next race.
Yeah, right now where things stand, he would start P6, assuming everybody that's here in this first race shows up for race 2. So that would put Braden Holt and John Osborne on the front row. Actually, I'm wondering, did Braden Holt even start the race? I don't believe he did.
I do recall that on pacing laps, he was told that he was blinking. I'm assuming because of his issues with blinking. Hopefully he can get it fixed for the next race and show back up, and he'll start from pole. But if not, he did have some blinking issues, and I'm assuming he pulled off and decided to try and fix those or just call it a night.
Right here we got the leader, Capiak. He is trying to put Meredith a lap down. Meredith pulling to the side. Gonna stay out of Hapiak and Cheney and McGill's way.
Now, what I'm impressed about, though, is Hapiak qualified. If you're looking at lap times from qualifying, which I know qualifying doesn't affect much of a race pace here when it comes to these road courses, but Hapiak qualified almost a second over what Cheney did, and Cheney's not letting him get away.
Yeah, Cheney's doing a great job, especially Cheney started the race P4, and he's done a great job holding on to staying right there with Hapiak. And issues just ahead of Hapiak. Is that Arnold? I think might have gotten off track just a little bit.
Yeah, I see a little bit of what could be bumper damage to him, or maybe just iRacing not loading the paint properly, but it did appear that he got off track just a little bit. Be interesting to see how he deals with the leaders being right behind him, if he's going to pull over and let them through, and where he decides to do so.
Yeah, depending on, they're pretty close to the straightaway, and I think the straightaway is the best place pull over, much like we saw with Zachary Meredith. And is that what? Yeah, Arnold, he's just going to pull to the right. And Hapiak is going to drive right on by.
Oh, and we missed something there. Something happened to Cheney, as McGill is now the second place car.
What did happen to Cheney? It's back here.
Oh, we have an off track. Looks like he overshot a corner. Oh, a couple corners. Gets down into a braking zone, and the car is just sliding. He can't get it slowed down and goes off track twice, trying to gather the car up. No damage, no harm, no foul. Those tires probably need a little bit of cleaning up, but it does lose a spot to Austin J. McGill, and has a decent gap back to Chris Wright. So, I mean, now his focus has just got to be out the windshield and trying to get back what he lost there.
Yeah, so I'm glad you were able to see what happened there and report it, because I could not find it at all. Trying to go back. Got driver on pit road. It's Brad Bennett.
Yeah, 30 laps around here. I didn't look at the pit info before this race, so I'm not sure if Brett Bennett maybe thinks that they have to pit this race. I don't even know if these drivers do need to pit this race.
They do. They run a edited fuel cell. And 35% fuel. They could go about 22.4 laps. So Brett cutting this race in half. He should be good to go for the rest of the race. I did notice Zachary Meredith also came down pit road. He came down a couple of laps ago. And it appears Cheney, Wright, Wareham, And I believe that's it. All down pit road right now. Hapiak and McGill elect to stay out. McGill still turning faster laps than our race leader, Nick Hapiak.
Yeah, and he is looking like he's closing the gap here. Maybe McGill might be able to come up here and surprise these guys.
See the gap between first and second is 1.3 seconds.
As I see, Hapiak looks like he's getting a little loose out of these corners on exit.
Yeah, I saw him slide there a little bit.
And it looks like Hapiak's going to be bringing it into pit road. I wonder if McGill is thinking run it out here and go the long run here.
Let's see, Hapiak is down pit road. Speed limit 37 miles per hour. We'll see what he does here. He elects 4 tires and fuel, or just fuel only. Looking at some of the pit times, and I don't know if everybody that's pit looks kind of split.
Oh, and as I'm hearing over the radio, we did mention McGill is a one-off on this series. He honestly just asked all the drivers if he needed tires or not. So McGill honestly doesn't even know his race strategy. So that's probably why we didn't see him pit right there with Hapiak.
You know, even though this is a road course, though, I think it is a great experience for us, Jay McGill, because we know, like you mentioned, this isn't a one-off race for him. He is a regular of the SJRL series, and they are going to Xfinity cars next season. Oh, Zachary Meredith around right in front of McGill. Great job for McGill to lock it down and not get into Meredith there.
I got to give Meredith credit where it's due. Spinning these cars around like that to get them out of the way is not an easy task. It's easy when it's loose to try and drive the car too much and catch it, but he keeps his foot in it there and clears the way for the leader to get through unscathed.
That was great job by Meredith, like you said, for sure.
And it looks like McGill is still going to stay out here. I'm curious as when he's going to pull it down and if he knows how much fuel he has left.
Yeah, and it appears top 3s have not come down pit roads yet. McGill, Kite, and Jose Ruiz.
The one thing I have learned, though, with broadcasting is you'll see a lot of over and undercuts when it comes to these road courses. And right now, I'm not sure what Hapiak is lap timing compared to McGill. But Hapiak could be looking at a pretty good undercut here. Or, yeah, it's an undercut, I believe is the term I'm looking for. To get the position on Austin J. McGill. As McGill comes into pit road, we'll see how close it is right here.
Looking forward to seeing this. So right here is Nick Hapiak. He's getting pretty close to coming out of, I'm not really sure what to call them, S's? It's crazy turns, and he's getting ready to come into that last corner.
Oh, Hapiak pushes a little bit there and kind of gets off the line, but we'll see. And he's loose coming off the corner there. Where's Austin J. McGill in all this? McGill comes off pit road, and he's still got the lead. So McGill with the overcut.
I'm a little surprised to see that work so well for McGill. What did he take? Fuel only, it appears. 3.9 seconds was his stop.
But now brings the question of how much wear is getting to these tires. Does Austin J. McGill think he can make it with just fuel?
At this point, he's made his bed. He's got to lay in it.
That he does, but what an impressive call there. And I'd say gutsy, and if it pays off, I mean, these guys are going to be questioning whether or not, I mean, where they're at, because this is somebody who doesn't race with this series regularly, who's coming off first race here. Could it be a first win?
It's very possible.
And I mean, he's got, I got to pick on him here. I told you this before we went live. I was going to pick on him. He's running his SJRL scheme. I don't even know if he knows it, but take the SJRL scheme to victory lane if you can do so, Austin. Might as well.
He's going to have 8 laps to go at the line. See here what the speed difference is. It appears as McGill and Happyack both have crossed the line. Happyack is going to be quicker by 0.4 of a second. 5.7 seconds is the gap between the two with 8 laps remaining. Math is telling me I don't think it's going to happen, but Meredith just ahead of McGill. He is spun out once again. He's going to spin it a fourth time rather. He is out of the way for McGill. There goes Happyack. So they make it through cleanly, and he's going to re-enter the track just in front of Janie. Meredith is ready for this race to be over, that's for sure.
Yes, he is, and I'm sure he'll be back to try and get some redemption in the second of this doubleheader. But Austin J. McGill, I just can't get over it, what he's done. He qualifies third coming out here. Never raced with these guys before. And looking like he might have made the call of the race here and might have opened these guys' eyes to the second race here. You may not need tires to win this thing. You may just need the fuel to get to the end of the race.
Oh, man, little loose there.
He looks like he's definitely struggling for grip. I wonder if that tire wear is really starting to take effect on him here.
That might very well be the case. He's going to try to hold on. 6 more laps. You see the gap between McGill and Happyack. 4.5 seconds. 6 laps to go here from Suzuka International Racing Course. The East Course, that is.
Yeah, and I will note that was about a second that Happyack closed that last lap. So if he keeps up that pace, or if McGill doesn't find a way to stomp on the gas pedal and keep the gap wider, we could be looking at a battle for the lead here very shortly.
I want to look something up here. So, you've got a guy making his first ever start. 5 laps to go with the lead. Being hunted by the winningest driver in NAOR League history, Nick Happyack, with 57 wins. Multiple-time champion, including the current reigning champion. Happyack, he's closing the gap, but I just don't think it's quick enough.
It is. If anything, I think we'll see under a second by the time we get to the last lap. But is that under a second going to be enough for him to get close enough to capitalize on maybe a mistake from Austin J. McGill? Or will Austin J. McGill keep it nice and tidy and just manage the gap here?
It is so tough. You see the gap. It is much smaller. But still, 3.3 seconds, 4 laps to go for these two drivers. we've seen a lot of mistakes by some drivers as well. Good Austin J. McGill.
I think the two drivers we've seen the least mistakes from are the two that are coming down here to battle for this win.
I think you're absolutely correct on that. But I'm just wondering, is McGill going to feel the pressure? 3 laps to go, 2.8 seconds is the gap. I don't want to commentators curse McGill, but see him just struggling there, getting back onto the straightaway.
I think he's starting to see that number 6 trickle up in his mirror, and he's trying to find anywhere to get some grip out of those tires. But what I will say, I'm no road course ringer, but I am a stock car guy, and I know for a fact that if he's already got tires that don't have grip, the last thing he wants to do, which it appears that he's doing, is overheat those tires, because they'll just get even more angry at you, and you'll have even less grip.
It's right along, or on board here with Hapiak. See here, coming to 2 laps to go here. Hapiak just get hard in the gas.
Hapiak actually got a little loose there coming off the corner where McGill kept it clean. And it looks like 2.5 seconds. That's a big gap to overcome here in the last 2 laps. But if anybody can do it after the statistic line you just read off a little bit ago, I think it's going to be Hapiak, because he has what appears to be the pace to run down Austin J. McGill. It's just, is there enough time?
Hear how low the RPMs are in Nick Hapiak's 6 machine, just going through these corners. And just listen to it. Getting loose.
A big loose there, trying everything he can to try and chase down Austin J. McGill. But I was getting ready to comment on that. It does seem like McGill almost running a different set of gears through the corners. It sounds like his RPM stay a little higher, whereas Hapiak runs a lower RPM.
We are white flag here as McGill is coming through the last half of the track. Just under a 2-second gap. McGill just needs to hit these last couple corners perfect, and McGill will be the winner.
Warranting any mistake right here on this last corner. I think we're going to see a first race, first win for Austin J. McGill.
And that is indeed what happened. Austin J. McGill, race winner. Nick Hapiak, P2. Kenneth Cheney will bring it home in 3rd position. We've got a battle. A little bit of a gap between the two, but Chris Wright, Hunter Peach bringing it 4th and 5th. Donald Kite mentioned him earlier. He's going to bring it home in 6th place. And look at Brett Bennett.
And Zachary Wareham coming across, race for 7th place. Looks like Wareham just let out of it there.
Jose Ruiz going to bring it home in 9th. Josh Arnold, P10. Zachary Meredith, 11th. John Osborne, 12th. And Braden Holt scored in 13th.
As Meredith doing the Ricky Bobby trait here, backwards across the line.
And we watch Austin J. McGill burn it down for race 1 here.
Well, Josh, how about that for a first race?
Yeah, I think that was a really bold strategy to call there for McGill. I think he It's just it sounds like it was a last minute decision, but he got it done. His pit stop, guys, 3.9 seconds. Compared to Nick Kapiak, 13.8. So, you know what? These guys only like to have the winner interviewed. I'll let you talk to us, Jay McGill, for this first race here, our race winner.
Oh, absolutely. And let's see if we can get him up here with us. Austin, it's Jonathan up in the booth. You got a copy, brother?
Yep, I got you.
Well, talk about strategy there. You were the only one that I think didn't take tires on that pit stop. Go ahead and tell us about the whole race overall and how you're feeling. First race, first win.
Yeah, it feels good. I've never driven the Xfinity car around such a bizarre track like this, so it was quite an experience for my first race in this league, but it was also a very last minute decision to take no tires on my pit stop.
And we talked about that up here in the booth, that it might have been a last second decision. What ultimately made it worth it to you in your head at the time to say, no tires here, I want the lead?
I was mainly just checking with my teammate Zachary Wareham how far back Nick actually was after his pit stop to see whether I needed tires or not. It was quite hard to tell, so I kind of just said screw it and took a risk and took no tires, and I guess it paid off.
Indeed, it paid off. But coming down there towards the end, we got to talk about, you got the 6 closing in on you. And I know you don't know this because you're new to the league, and I didn't even know this. Josh just informed me a little bit ago. He's the winningest driver in this series, and he's a multi-time champion. So what does it feel to have, someone like that just coming down towards the end, closing that gap steadily? Did you ever worry that maybe he was going to get there, or were you confident that you were going to be able to maintain the gap?
Um, I'm gonna be honest. When I did come out of the pit lane, I thought I did screw myself over. My teammate did say it'd be hard to hold him off for the last, I think it was 10 laps. He was only about 7 seconds behind me, and he was closing really quickly. So I knew one mistake and it'd be all over. But yeah, my tires were screaming.
Well, and I assume you and Zach are going to flip over to this next race here, and it's a doubleheader. So now, looking at next race, you get to start in the back. Any sort of strategy or anything like that? Or are you going to just try to do the same thing you did here and hope that the result is the same?
Strategy-wise, I might try and do the same thing. Maybe Nick took some notes on what I did that race. Maybe he'll try it himself. But I'm starting in the back now, so obviously I have to keep my car clean the whole race as best as I can. So we'll see how that goes.
Well, and it was a good race for you. First race of 2. We hope to see much of the same in the second one. How about anyone you got to shout out here tonight, and any thanks you got to give?
I'd just like to shout out to Zachary Wareham for being in the voice chat with me, helping me with through the whole race. Shout out to you and Josh for showing the race, and yeah, that's it.
All right. Well, thank you, and good job. And congratulations. Enjoy that win, and go put on a show in the next one. Austin J. McGill, winner here, first race at Suzuka.
Yeah, great job there for by Austin J. McGill to get that race win. It came down to the end. It came down to the last lap, and Kapiak, he was definitely closing in, just not enough time. So I'm kind of excited to see what the strategy is going to be like for the second race of this doubleheader, to see if it kind of moves things around. If some guys are going to try a different strategy and see if they can pull what McGill did.
It's certainly going to be interesting. I'm more interested to see Happy and McGill probably the two fastest cars on the track. I mean, the exception of a couple others who had mistakes, but I'd say fastest mistake-free cars. Do we see any mistakes out of them in this second race, or do they come through the field and maybe surprise us all?
It's going to be very interesting. I'm really excited to see what's going to happen here. But that's going to do it for this first race. So what's going to happen, guys? If you haven't seen previous doubleheader, basically what's going to happen is you don't have to go anywhere. You can stay right here. This will be the same place. For the second race, we're going to take a quick, brief pause. You're just going to see the logo. I'm going to exit out of this session, load into the next session, as well as Canfield. And we're going to be live over there in just a couple of minutes. So don't go anywhere. Unless if it's a run to get popcorn or bathroom or something. We'll be right back. Welcome back here from Suzuka International Racing Course. We saw Austin J. McGill take race 1 win. And back here for race 2. So these guys, what's going to happen is they are going to get on the grid, and then they are going to get in their positions from where they'll start this race. It's going to be a reverse order. So McGill, of course, he won last race. He's going to start last for this race. And Nick Kapiak will start in the last row as well. So, of course, I am Josh Coppernall, joined in the booth by Jonathan Ganfield.
And good evening, everybody. I'm excited for race 2.
So these guys getting to their positions. It was going to be the 81 of Osborne and Meredith, 17 on the front row. Osborne has elected to take an EOL. He's going to work his way up to the front regardless, at least for the time being, to get up there. Not a lot of room here to get up there.
Yeah, there's not a ton of room, but it's going to be interesting to see these guys here. So the way this is going to go for all y'all watching at home, they're going to take the green. Pace car is going to leave. These 2 laps added to the original 30-lap race that we just had last race are the 2 laps they get to form up. So you're going to see guys going everywhere, letting people by. Once they're in order, they are going to go, I believe they said, on the second line coming to the green. And I'm not sure what number they announced, but they did just announce what appeared to be a pretty significant number for Austin J. McGill being a certain number winner in league history. I'd have to go look through all the league winners and count it up, but it seems like they've hit an achievement here tonight with Austin J. McGill picking up that win.
I'm seeing 48 total winners on their win list. And Austin J. McGill has been added to the winners list already. And what I see, so if that's accurate, 48 different winners. So the field is getting all set. See there, John Osborne, Zachary Meredith, they're working their way up to the front. Joshua Arnold and Jose Ruiz making their way up after that. Zachary Wareham and Brett Bennett will make up row 3. Donald Kite and Hunter Peach, row 4. Looks like 69 of Chris Wright and Kenneth Cheney make up row 5. Row 6 will be Nick Hapiak and Austin J. McGill. Guys are double file. I don't think they're going green this time by, though, because this will put them at 31 laps to go.
They should be pacing at 1 lap here, and they are giving the go-ahead for any guys that want an EOL. John Osborne is going to take that EOL, so that will move, I believe, the 22 of Josh Arnold up 1 row. And making things interesting, that actually puts Austin J. McGill a row ahead of Nick Hapiak this time.
I'm very curious to see what's going to happen here.
Well, before we kick this off, as they pace around one more time, you asked me the first time, who's your pick to win this time around, Josh?
Oh, man. It's going to be tough. You know, I'm gonna go with Nick Hapiak again. I think he learned what it takes in that first race. Runner-up finish. I think he's hungry. Get it done this time around. I think Hapiak's going to get this one.
I think the one that surprised me the most, I think Kenneth Cheney cleans up the race here, and he keeps up with both McGill and Hapiak and steals a win here.
Yeah, he's going to start ahead of both of them. Not a bad pick at all.
Yeah, looking back on last race, he only had the one mistake. That's what cost him. As we come around this corner, we are getting ready to go green. Field should be in the hands, I believe, of either Josh Arnold or Zachary Meredith. And they are going at this line, I believe. No, not that one. One of these lines.
Just ahead. I see where they're going to go. Coming up to the line, it's going to be... Green flag is in the air, and oh man, Josh Arnold, wheel spin in front of the field!
Oh! No.
Wow.
And the driver comes on the radio and says that is the most embarrassing thing he's ever done. You feel for him. You really do. As Zachary Wareham jumps out to an early lead here. Kind of gifted the early lead with everyone having to check up. He was the car that was behind Josh Arnold when that happened.
And Hunter Peach, P2. Cheney. Look at Cheney, P3 here.
Cheney moving up through the field very quickly here and wasting no time getting to the front. We'll see if these two in front of him have what it takes to hold him off. Now, with that in mind, though, Zachary Wareham, no stranger to road courses. He wanted to come race this race because it was a road course. So I wouldn't be surprised to see him put up a fight here and try to lead some laps here and see if he can steal himself a win.
Leading the first lap is Wareham. And everybody, for the most part, makes it through lap one.
As don't look now, right behind Mr. Cheney. Where did he come from? The 21, Austin J. McGill, making it up to fourth. Looking to go back-to-back here. And I think the 6 is struggling to get through traffic. Nick Hapiak not having as good of a run as these guys.
Yeah, I noticed when all that chaos happened, the line on the left side, driver's left, did not get going, which I'm not surprised there with Arnold having his own man watch there. Hapiak getting loose. But, yeah, as I was saying, that left side lane, it did not go because of the big checkup. And that allowed a guy like McGill, who is on the right side, to just get a huge launch and pass a lot of drivers. See here, Hapiak just struggling in traffic. Now he's battling side by side with Chris Wright. And Hapiak, he's going to drop a position to Chris Wright. Hapiak in position number 10.
Certainly not having the best of starts as he would have probably wanted here after coming off a P2 finish where he probably thought he could have gotten a win there. Now just struggling to hang on to a top 10 as Brett Bennett is off the track.
Oh man, he was in 5th place when that happened. He's going to drop all the way down to 10th. 5 positions lost there for Brett Bennett.
Zach Wareham, though, still out front, holding off Hunter Peach.
Noticed a little tire lock up there just as I was going away, and I could have swore I saw another car off the grass. I think it was just me seeing things. And know Brett Bennett had his tires locked up. Looked like the 6, from my perspective, did go off, but that is not the case. But just ahead of him, Chris Wright getting around Jose Ruiz, and Donald Kite might have been a little bit loose there. Oh, man.
Certainly some drivers struggling for grip right here as we get through this opening stint of the race. And keep in mind for everyone at home, these drivers will make at least one stop. But taking notes from last race, our last race winner won on a fuel-only stop. So do we see any of these drivers take that same risk? I think Austin J. McGill is thinking same strategy with where he's at. He's in 4th place right now, and I think he's thinking same strategy. Take care of my tires and go fuel only again.
If I were a bet man, I'd say that is probably a very accurate assumption there for McGill. Fuel only and very little. I noticed with lap times, or I'm sorry, pit times, there was a couple of them that looked like they had fuel only lap times, but none that were as short and as quick as McGill's was.
It almost makes you wonder how much did he have left coming to the checkered flag there.
He at least had enough to do a burnout.
Well, and I mean, he gave credit to his teammate Zachary Wareham for helping him out. Well, look who's in the lead now early on here. Zach, the guy giving McGill the strategy, is in front and could potentially pull the same strategy out here.
Yeah, he's doing a great job. I think Wareham learned the mistake from last race. And so far, so good for that 12 machine, Zachary Wareham.
His lap times are not pacing much farther off of what we were seeing last race. He just went a 53.39, which is right around what our leaders were running at race pace last race. So, I mean, maybe not the fastest guy in qualifying, or maybe not the guy with the best of luck in the first race, but certainly has the race pace here to be running around these guys.
And he's doing a great job. He's running a little bit slower than Peach and Cheney, but he's holding on as Peach and Cheney continue to battle with each other for position number 2. And Austin J. McGill, who's been running the fastest laps last few times around, a few car lengths off Cheney.
And I think early on here we see these guys, they're being patient up front. They're not pushing to pass anybody. They're kind of content with where they are. I think it's too soon to start really trying to force an issue on a pass. But then again, as we both kind of know from last race, getting out in that clean air can be a difference. I think it certainly made a difference for Austin J. McGill running those longer laps than what Nick Hapiak did, and having that clean air and just making it work. But as we look through the field right now, it looks like a 4-car breakaway out here. Between the top 4, you got to go back to, I believe it's Donald Kite, who is about 6 seconds back of the top 4. And then you got Chris Wright, he's right behind him. And you go back another 3 seconds to Brett Bennett. The field has seemed to have spread out, and probably not what Nick Hapiak wants to see as he's on pit road.
That is tough for Hapiak already. Struggling in this race, but taking a stop.
Strategy call here. He pits now, and he's off pit road very quickly. Splash and go. I think he's going to try and be the guy to cycle through to the lead on these upcoming pit stops. That pretty much opens the pit window for these guys.
Well, here's my thoughts here. So Hapiak, he was definitely struggling in traffic. Right now, it's wide open in front of him for quite a while. Big distance until he gets to the next car in line, which is going to be Zachary Meredith, who is in pit road. So now it is even a bigger gap for Nick Hapiak until he gets to the next car. I think this is a great strategy for Hapiak. Pit early, and once everybody else comes down pit road, hopefully in his case, for what I believe Hapiak is trying here, he's just going to pass him on pit road.
Yeah, and I was getting ready to talk about it, but Kenneth Cheney pulls it to pit road, and he was battling very closely with Austin J. McGill. Austin J. McGill taking over third spot, Cheney to pit road.
These drivers definitely saw what Hapiak did. They are coming, trying to match it.
And I think a lot of these drivers seeing what McGill did last race, we're going to have a good race on our hands here. It's all going to come down to fuel mileage. Who fills up the tank enough? As Cheney seems like he's having a couple issues here on pit road. And now he's taking tires.
You look right here for the lead. Wareham is behind Meredith. And just behind Wareham is Hunter Peach for the race lead.
And I know Wareham's probably getting a little frustrated right now with Meredith not just pulling over right there down the straightaway to be out of the way, as he looks like he's going to go deep into that braking zone and try to get around Meredith. He is there on the inside. Meredith lets him go around, and looks like he's going to let the 20 of Peach go around as well.
So we, for a second, had the Zach and Zach show. Wareham, he is ahead, and now once again trying to pull a gap between himself and Peach.
But I mean, don't look now, because just behind Meredith too, McGill has pulled himself back in this thing, seeming like he has a better car as the run goes on. As I see now, Kenneth Cheney has pulled it behind the pit wall.
Very unfortunate for Cheney. He's running really well.
He certainly was, and we're sad to see that, and hope that everything was okay for him and that it wasn't an on-track incident that cost him this race. Big time lose for Wareham coming out of that corner, as he looks like he is pushing to try and stay in front of Peach here. Peach taking a look to the inside. We have a battle for the lead. No, it doesn't look like Peach is going to get a run here down this front straightaway, but man, he was right to Wareham's inside coming out of that corner.
Yeah, things have definitely gotten tight between these top two, but Wareham's still the guy in control of this race.
It's all going to come down to who pits first and who has the pace when the other pits. Or will they both pit at the same time?
They're coming to 16 laps to go in this race. So we're almost at halfway.
I now see Nick Hapiak has also pulled it behind the wall.
Few early
Gotta wonder if
retirements
if something happened to Nick Hapiak. He pitted early, first car to pit road, and seemed like he might have had the strategy call, but decides to call it a night here from Suzuka.
Oh. Battle for the race lead. Wareham left the door open for Hunter Peach.
But by doing so, it looks like he got a decent run off that corner where Peach kind of had a shallower line and maybe struggled to get back to the gas.
Yeah, Hunter Peach He's not able to take the opening, but he is still right there with Wareham.
And I know it's not for position, but credit Zachary Meredith, kind of just sitting there behind these guys as a lap car, and he seems like he's learning something. We get one full course caution. I know this league doesn't run Lucky Dogs, but he could unlap himself here and still be back in this race.
There's absolutely a chance there for Meredith. I think something big would have to happen for a full course caution to come out, but I don't believe it's out of the equation.
Oh, and as I peek over at Discord, Kenneth Cheney reports he was too far back from his pit stall for like 10 seconds on pit road, so he cost himself some time on pit road and just decided to call it a night.
Very unfortunate there for Cheney. He was having a really strong night.
That he was. And Cheney, if you're out there watching, we feel for you, bud, and we hope to see you next time out here and having a better run. Back up front, though, it looks like McGill has caught the back bumper of this lap car with Meredith, and still pretty much nose to tail is these four drivers, as the 22 of Josh Arnold is back out on track, but it looks like he's off track again.
Tough break. Oh, man. Wareham, he's coming down pit road.
That indeed he is. He's the first of that top three breakaway to peel off to pit lane to the service of his guys. We'll see how quickly he's off. He can't need much to make it to the end, but does he take tires here?
I don't think he does. I think he learned. And I don't see any signs. Nope, fuel only for Wareham.
As he rejoins the track, I'm going to head back up and watch this battle for the lead, because now McGill has gotten clear of the lap car of Meredith. And Peach, as he reports on the radio, he's going to be bringing it to pit road.
And McGill's going to stay out another lap. So here comes Hunter Peach. Curious to see what he takes here.
This is shaping out a lot like what we've seen last race. Austin McGill going the long run here and peeling off to pit road for just 3 seconds. Might work out again.
So we'll keep an eye on Hunter Peach. I don't see tires or sides going up. Nope. Peach off and away already. Looking at time, Wareham a second quicker than Peach was, and it's showing here as Wareham is ahead of Peach. Let's watch McGill. Does McGill come in this time by? He does not. McGill staying out another time.
I think we're seeing McGill here try to play a strategy. Last time by, 27 seconds was the lead to Wareham that he had. And coming across the stripe this time, I will get updated when my iRacing updates, but I'm assuming we might see that time come down a little bit.
Let's see here.
As it is now appearing to be 28 seconds is the gap. So Austin J. McGill's actually stretching the gap here on these guys.
And
as he brings it in.
Yeah, McGill coming down pit road.
And I think we can pretty much seal the deal here. We know what he's going to do. Everyone else has done it so far in this race. I don't see Austin doing much different here. Get the fuel you need and take it to the end of the race.
Now the only question is, how long is he going to be on pit road for? Will Wareham have a quicker time than McGill? He's in his stop box. Already off and away, 3 seconds, 4/10 faster than Wareham.
And Wareham's going to take the lead, though. And here comes Peach.
Oh, Peach off track! Able to get back on track is Peach.
It appears, though, our battle is going to be between the two guys with a GGA on the front of their hood. Between two teammates, two friends, Austin McGill and Zachary Wareham.
Oh man, this is a close battle. McGill trying to go back to back and claim his second win in his NAOR league career, if you will.
But at the same time, when you got a guy like Wareham, who's your teammate and your friend, how hard do you push to get this win if you're in Austin McGill's position?
You know, at the end of the day, these guys are racers. I think McGill, he wants to win. He'd love to sweep the races.
Now, Josh, I've got to ask, you've done a couple different doubleheaders with this league. Have we ever had any back-to-backs on the doubleheaders?
We have not, actually. So, if I'm not mistaken, the only doubleheader we have had is Bristol. Now, we've had a couple that were supposed to be on the schedule, or that have been on the schedule, but have been postponed. And Bristol, I want to say it was Nick Hapiak taking race 1. No, I'm sorry, it was Josh Arnold taking race 1, and the 69 at Chris Wright taking race 2.
So, I mean, for McGill, granted, he doesn't know this because he's inside the car right now, but possible chance at a milestone here of first doubleheader back-to-back for, I would say, this season, or maybe ever.
We have ridden on board with Austin J. McGill for a lap. It is under a second. 7 laps to go here from Suzuka. McGill faster. Oh, in the grass is McGill. What a great job to get his car out of the grass. Still a little wide there. But that was an incredible job not to have a huge mistake happen there.
Yes, absolutely. Great job by Austin to not just absolutely throw the race away there. And I mean, still within a decent gap of Wareham, we could see this race still heat up.
Yeah, I think you're absolutely correct. McGill has been a little bit faster than Wareham, pretty much all race long. And 6 laps to go once they cross the stripe. The gap is right there, about a second. Much cleaner entry into turn 1 that time for McGill. And he is closing in. Go ahead.
You look behind McGill, Peach is not out of this either. He's still hanging tough right there, even after missing, I think it was turn 1 when McGill came out of the pits.
Yeah, Peach, he's sitting in a really good position as well. I would not count him out. He's sitting in prime position. If these two ahead of him, Wareham and McGill, start racing hard, Peach has an opportunity to capitalize. 5 laps to go, though, for Wareham.
If you're Zachary Wareham right now, your only mindset is putting together the cleanest laps that you can. If you're at McGill's position, you're wanting not. Oh, and as I say, put together clean lap. Zachary Wareham, big loose coming out of turn 1. Saves it, keeps it together, and hangs on to the lead for now, but that allows McGill to close up. And this is where you want to be if you're McGill. You want to be right there behind him. You want to be in his mirror. You want to be playing those head games and trying to make him run the car harder into a corner and overdrive it. And then if you're Peach right now in the 3rd position, because it appears to be a 3-car runaway, you want these two to start racing and maybe even take each other out.
100%. Everything you just said. You said head games. I don't know if you're a classic rock fan, but right now all I can think of is Foreigner. Pretty sure that's who sings that song, but Gil, he might be taking notes from them, as he is hoping to be doing some head games here with Wareham.
Well, and as we mentioned, these two are teammates and they're friends, so they are in a channel together right now, probably communicating, and I'm sure they're talking to each other and probably playing a little bit of verbal head games as well.
They're coming to 3 laps to go here from Suzuka International Racing Course in the NAOR Series. Wareham leads it. McGill wants it. The gap is under half a second between the two. McGill looking to go back-to-back.
I'm noticing when we come through 1 every time, McGill's getting what appears to be a better run, virtue of not taking the corner as shallow as Wareham does. He kind of more swings it out and arcs down into the center of the corner instead of riding that little rumple strip around the corner like Wareham does.
Wareham actually faster than McGill that last time by at the start-finish line. And Wareham's doing a great job right now, gapping McGill just a little bit this lap. Coming to 2 laps to go here for these guys.
Big wiggle out of the 21 out of that last corner that time. You got to wonder, is he pushing a little too hard to try and get to Wareham?
He might be. Oh, little slide there for McGill.
I'll tell you what, though, either way you look at it, both of these drivers are driving amazingly. Like 110%, everything they've got, they're leaving it out there on the track.
And through the last couple of corners, Zachary Wareham, he's about to take the white flag. And he's down on the straightaway. White flag is in the air. One more time around for Zachary Wareham. Is he going to be able to hold off McGill? Can McGill get up there? Pete, she still has a chance at this.
I think McGill's best shot, and I've seen it the last couple laps, the last corner. He rolls in just a little bit deeper than Wareham, but he's got to close up right here through these little S's to be able to have a shot to get there.
Looking out of view from high above. They're coming to the last set of corners here. Right-hander, oh, John Osborne off the track. And through the last corner here, it is going to be Zachary Wareham off cleanly. He's going to cross the stripe.
And Peach spins from 3rd place. Where's the 4th place car at?
Peach will get 3rd.
Very fortunate to get as much of a gap as he had there. The 4th place car was a little bit closer. Peach could have just thrown away his 3rd place finish. Oh, as we had some crashing, I believe, for 4th place coming across the line. Donald Kite and Chris Wright get into it coming across the line for 4th and 5th place.
Not sure if something happened earlier in the race that caused that.
Looks like we might get a case of double burnouts here from the two teammates, though. Zach Wareham, though, bringing home the win here in the second race, followed up by his teammate and the winner of the first race, Austin J. McGill. And we got two teammates burning it down on the front straightaway. Well, Josh, how about race 2?
Tell you what, it's definitely a lot closer than race 1 at that finish. But, I'm not surprised to see everybody trying that strategy. I will say I am surprised to see the result. Zachary Wareham, of course, finishing P1. Great job out of Wareham.
He was one that I think I brought it up in the first race. Didn't have a good race, and I had to just swallow the mistake that he made, and comes up P1 here because he started a little bit further ahead than the guys that were behind him.
Let's go ahead and bring in our race winner. Zachary Wareham, race winner. It was it's a pretty easy Sunday drive for you, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, no. Mr. Hunter was keeping me real honest in that first stint. He was fantastic. He was fantastic in the long run. I was pretty quick in the short run. But I attribute the drive here to the fact that the conditions were quite a little bit different from the first race. And as soon as I loaded into the session, I saw that, the sky was all different. We had a lot more clouds, stuff like that. So I knew I should get in quite a few warm-up laps, get myself acclimated. And my teammate Austin, he was faster in practice. I thought he was going to just blitz me in this race. But he was a bro. I won't say he let me win, but he was going to, if he got out ahead of Hunter, he was going to race him like hell. So track position won the race for me. At the start, the seas just parted like friggin' Moses. But with Mr. I don't know who it was, the 22. Was that Josh?
That was Josh Arnold, yes.
I don't know what happened to him. Maybe he started in first gear. I don't know. Overall, it's just real big confidence booster for me. I haven't had a whole lot of league success lately. But get one right here on an unfamiliar track, tough conditions, feels really good.
It did not come easy by any means, that's for sure. And, McGill, he was closing in. What was it like? Just knowing that he was closing in, was turning faster lap times most of the race than what you were, and just kind of seeing him in your mirror.
I have a ton of respect for Austin. I've known him for several years now, and I've always been, and I know he's listening to the broadcast right now, unless he's still on the phone, but I've always been a little bit self-conscious about the fact that he's a lot faster than me and that he's younger than me. But I don't know, I feel like it was just respect between teammates who've been friends for a long time. He was going to give it his all. I gave it my all. In the end, I won. He finished second. We both got to do burnouts at the end. It was a great time for both of us.
All right. Before I let you go, who gets it done for you? Who do you have to thank?
Pardon?
Who do you have to thank tonight?
I'd like to thank AMSOIL and CTR for giving us the brand recognition. Sorry. I'd like to thank AMSOIL and CTR for giving us some logos to put on our stuff, make ourselves more official. AMSOIL sends in a little bit of chunk of change to get us doing things that we love. I'd like to thank all my teammates for always providing mental support for me. Again, I'm always a little bit self-conscious about how fast or not fast I am as a driver, and they're always there for me. John, you're there too with me. And yeah, it was a great time, real good time.
All right, that is your race winner, Zachary Wareham, here in race 2 of the doubleheader at Suzuka.
Thanks, boys.
So, John, this league, of course, brand new to you. First time you've called a race here. I'm curious to know what was your thoughts here.
I think this is a stout field for sure. I'd love to come back. I'll be watching other races, but I'd love to come back and call other races as they become available. Obviously, this is not something that I personally do full time as of yet, but these races are fun to call, even if it's just a one-off opportunity. I appreciate JCTV and Josh. Obviously, you giving me the opportunity to come see these different kind of races. Very stout field of drivers, but I have to give a little cat out of the bag. I was the guy who kind of invited the 2 winners tonight, so in a way, I guess you could say it's a winning night for me.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Just you'll have guys come in, to race when they see a product or something like that. In this case, these guys didn't see NAOR before. I wouldn't imagine, and you brought them along, and and nothing is guaranteed, even, right? Like these guys, they're coming into a series where they're not sure what's going on. Nothing is guaranteed. We didn't have McGill and Wareham winning both races on our bingo cards tonight, but I think they did a great job, and maybe some of the other guys maybe wishing you hadn't brought them along, but it was a fun race nonetheless to watch, and what a what a great couple races we saw.
Absolutely, it was. I wouldn't say really side by side battling like you get on an oval, but for terms of road course racing, to be within a car length to 2 car lengths of another driver, that's one mistake from somebody swapping positions or one person not hitting the brakes soon enough, and you get an accident. And they put on a heck of a show here tonight. All drivers from the start to the finish, from the front to the back, really just seen guys putting out their max effort, and that's all you can ask for on these kind of races.
And one other thing I want to mention, of course, I'm not sure if something happened between Donald Kite and Chris Wright there at the end that caused some kind of issue. We saw the replay of after the checkered, but um, I'm not quite sure what happened there. But I do want to say I mentioned earlier in the night that Donald Kite, he was really good at the road courses and the console games. Of course, coming to iRacing, different animal, and of course finished fourth tonight. I think regardless if something didn't happen between him and Wright, Kite might still have gotten top 5 regardless. So not a bad night for Donald Kite, and I think he's starting to cement himself as one to watch for future races down the road.
Absolutely. And making a transition from console to a server like iRacing, if you haven't done it at home, it's quite the mountain to climb. So just the best advice I can personally give to you, and I'm sure Josh would back me up on this, if you're going to join iRacing, just take your time, learn the tracks, and learn what you can handle and expand from there.
Yeah, for sure. Completely, just off topic. I was on my console days for racing online for maybe about a year. NASCAR 15, basically where I started league racing, and it was in 2016 I got iRacing. I had 18 league wins on NASCAR 15. On iRacing, I have a goose egg of 0. So, it just shows the difference uh, between the two. They're not similar. As far as trying to get acclimated with iRacing. If you're really good at the console games, it's just so different coming to iRacing. But, great job, Donald Kite, getting himself fourth place finish here in the second race. And Wareham winning race 2, McGill taking the race in race 1, rather. That makes 49 total different winners in the series. One more, they're at the big 50.
Oh, absolutely, and that's an achievement and a testament to this league and the kind of product that they're trying to put out and the kind of crowd they're drawing. It seems like they're starting to draw some fast drivers, maybe some guys that'll come in and put up a run for a championship here in the near future. But you got to start somewhere. As you said, this league started on console and it came over to iRacing, and you got to start somewhere with every league. So to be doing what they're doing, drawing in guys like Wareham, McGill, even if I did invite them and they didn't know anything about this league, drawing in those guys and drawing in other people who are watching through like our JCTV broadcast. That's how you get started, and that's how you build a really good league. And I think this league has a bright future in front of them.
Well, I think that's going to do it from us here at Suzuka. We have off night tomorrow night in the Pits News Truck Series once again. They'll be returning next weekend at track I'm looking forward to. I believe it's next weekend. But they are returning to Michigan International Speedway. But I believe, and I'll have to check the dates, we are bringing along a new league. I think Monday night. They're going to be on their race too. It is. I don't want to mess up the league name. It's the Victorum Racing League, VRL. Started by a group of guys, including one that you may recognize, Blaine Sparling, from Slide Jawb. So looking forward to that one over there. And then the All-Star race happening for NAOR next Friday night. So looking forward to that. We still got plenty of action coming up, so stay right here on JCTV in the coming up days. But just want to wish everybody a very happy and safe New Year. Tomorrow night, New Year's Eve. If you're going to drink, don't drive. Find a taxi, an Uber, a friend. Just, be safe out there, guys. But that's going to do it from us here at JCTV. Thank you. Stay safe. Take care. Happy New Year, everybody. We'll see you in 2023.